Imagine standing in an old, dimly lit room, the floorboards creaking beneath your feet. The air feels heavy, and as you take a deep breath, there is a sudden drop in temperature. A shiver runs through you, and then you feel something cold, almost like fingers grazing your arm. Your heart races, and you whip around, expecting to see someone, but there's nothing. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to explore top 5 most haunted places in the United States. The United States is home to countless places rich in history, but some locations hold more than just stories from the past. These haunted sites left the visitors shaken. From old hospitals to historic battlefields, the supernatural lingers in ways that defy explanation. 1. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Weston, West Virginia. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia, is one of the most infamous haunted locations in the United States. Built during the mid-1800s, this Gothic structure was meant to be a beacon of hope for the mentally ill, but over time, it became a symbol of horror and suffering. Originally designed for 250, the asylum soon became overcrowded in the 1950s. Conditions were deplorable. Patients slept on the floor in gross rooms, while the staff did their best to keep the semblance of order. Electroshock therapy and lobotomies were part of regular procedure. The patients emerged very much like shells. Years passed by, so did the agony in the asylum. Tales of torture, neglect, and brutality took over. Some spent their nights screaming and yelling. Some tried to flee from their agony, but only a handful were successful. Some died inside the asylum, with their restless spirits said still to roam, and unable to leave this place. Even today, visitors to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum will say that they were overcome with an overwhelming feeling of dread the moment they entered the building. The air is heavy, as if walls retain memories of yesteryear. Cold spots seem to appear in rooms at random, and there are figures lurking within shadows. People hear disembodied voices, soft whispers, murmurs, or even blood-curdling screams. Lily, a young girl apparition, is sometimes seen wandering the upper floors with a doll in hand. The Civil War wing, in one of the most frightening places. Paranormal investigators have reported doors slammed on their own, objects moved without explanation, and unexplained drop in temperature. Others have reported feeling the creepy hand brush against their skin. Then there are stories of a violent entity known as the creeper, or shadow-like figure, that crawl from floor to wall. The repute of the asylum is notorious as a paranormal hotspot, but when people leave there, they are left more shaken. The hospital was closed back in 1994, but remains alive with the echoes of dark past. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum stands today as a testament to horrors, the spirits of those who suffered held captive in an endless cycle of torment. 2. Downtown Los Angeles, California. Downtown Los Angeles appears to be the beating heart of the city, full of life and gigantic skyscrapers. But deep beneath all that, there lies a dark and unsettling history. Many buildings here have witnessed decades of tragedy and despair, and some claim the spirits from those past tormented fates still linger, unwilling to let go of those miserable fates. For decades, the Cecil Hotel has stood out as one of the most famous buildings in the downtown. Many ghostly tales have swirled around it. Built in the 1920s, the Cecil Hotel gained immediate creepy reputation as many cases of suicide, inexplicable deaths, and even murders took place there. The abode now sheltered society's outcasts, and some believe that their restless souls haunt its halls to this present day. Guests have claimed that strange whispers can be heard echoing through the corridors at night, disembodied footsteps outside their rooms, and this suffocating sensation of foreboding with no apparent reason. It's not, however, only the hotel that holds all these dark secrets. There is also a story going around about the Haunt Los Angeles Theater, an old landmark symbolic of Hollywood's golden era. Employees also tend to see shadowy figures on the balconies. Others hear the faint strands of forgotten music. Some feel cold spots, while others the unmistakable feeling of being followed, even when there is nothing else around. The streets themselves are soaked in a history of suffering as once used to be home for the notorious Skid Row. Many believe the wandering, lost, and forgotten souls who walk these streets never actually left. Travelers crossing at night report seeing figures in the corner of their eye. The city feels like it's always watching. It is as if it is full of memories of all the broken, the desperate, and the lost. Even as the downtown changes, the spirits of its dark past remain. 3. The Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, Midlothian, Illinois. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery sits in woods within the suburb of Midlothian, Illinois. Dating from the 1800s, it has gained popularity through its decaying tombstones and overgrown pathways, but most curiously, for the unsettling experiences reported. People who visit this place get a feeling that it is full of choking silence and only disturbed by slight sounds such as rustling of leaves in the wind, an echoing detached voice far away. The most familiar of these voices reportedly owns the White Lady, or Madonna of Bachelor's Grove. Many claim to have seen her wandering around various graves in her flowing gown. Those who have gotten close enough described her face as sorrowful, lost in a grief. She says nothing, but her presence is heavy. But the White Lady is hardly the only ghost that roams this forgotten graveyard. In 1984, a photograph was taken that has left paranormal authorities speechless for decades. It depicts a woman seated on a broken tombstone, her form so distinct that it's hard to believe she wasn't actually there. But the photographer claimed no one had ever sat where she sat. While her identity is still not known, many believe that this is just another restless soul who cannot find peace in afterlife. The phantom farmhouse stories are even more spooky. Witnesses have come forward with tales of a small house deep in the woods surrounding the cemetery, the windows glowing faintly in the darkness. Its origin has never been determined, although it's believed that the farmhouse has ties to the gangsters who allegedly buried people during Prohibition within the local grounds in Bachelor's Grove. People say they often get a deep feeling of foreboding when approaching the location, as if something or someone did not want them there. And then there's the black dog. This ghostly apparition has been seen by many over the years, always near the entrance to the cemetery, vanishing into nothing. Rather than being aggressive, it often seems menacing, lurking out of view. The site of the cemetery has its own dark legend, the pond. It is said that the mob used it as a place where they would dispose of the dead bodies. People who visit the place tell of seeing the ghostly figures rise from the water and disappear quickly. There are some nights when strange lights are seen above the water, flickering like lanterns without a source ever being found. Perhaps the dead are said to haunt nowhere so much as in the past. A feeling clings to every tree and headstone, as if something unfinished, unresolved, sat there. Perhaps it's that the boundary between this world and the next, woven here so tightly that you could step into it at any moment. 4. The Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, California. The Winchester Mystery House, an interstate structure of complexity in San Jose, California, is neither just a peculiarity nor mystical place. It holds enigmatic and supernatural stories. This huge mansion was said to have been built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of the rifle magnate William Winchester, as a final effort to get rid of the spirits of all the people killed by the Winchester. After her husband's death, Sarah sought the services of a medium who said that the restless souls who were lost to the rifle's violence sought vengeance. The only solution was to continuously add on to her house. In case construction ever went on to stop, Sarah believed the spirits would kill her. For 38 years, she ran the house under construction that would eventually become one of the weirdest houses in America. 24,000 square feet with 160 rooms. There's a story that she designed it confusingly so the spirits wouldn't find their way around. Both visitors and workers speak of horrifying encounters. They report having heard the weeping of a woman. She is thought to be Sarah, trapped forever in the house of her own conjuring. Perhaps the most unnerving room in the house was the seance room, where Sarah practiced her rituals to speak with the spirits. The lights flicker, the cold drafts swirl through the room, and the sense of being physically smothered by some ghostly weight becomes almost unbearable. Today, the Winchester Mystery House stands as a monument to Sarah Winchester's fear, and as a chilling reminder that some spirits refuse to rest. 5. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is one of those very famous haunting sites in the United States and is located in Louisville, Kentucky. It was constructed during 1910. Initially, it was just a small sanatorium to care for the patients suffering from tuberculosis, but with the time, it spread like wildfire, and Waverly Hills had to expand its capacity to accommodate over 400 patients. Being one of the dreaded diseases, there was no cure to this disease at that time, and this hospital turned out to be a haven for death. It is said that more than 60,000 people lost their lives there, and that the spirits of many are still there. The most horrible features of Waverly Hills are the body chute, a long, dark tunnel for the moving of dead from the hospital for secret burial. And this one has been used for the carrying of bodies out of the hospital. Yet the weight of such sorrow, fear, and anguish etched its scar, and it is believed that spirits of those who perished here never really left. There are many paranormal activities that have been reported by visitors and paranormal investigators at Waverly Hills. These include echoing footsteps through long, empty halls, disembodied voices whispering through the night, shadowy figures darting through rooms, etc. The most frequently heard apparition in the hall is that of a young boy named Timmy, who supposedly roams with a ball. Many individuals said to have heard the bouncing of his ball up and down all corridors. On the 5th floor, mostly room 502, it is said that there is some dark energy. According to this legend, a nurse hanged herself from the fixture of the light after she got pregnant and didn't get married. Others claim that because she learned she had tuberculosis and that was the reason for her suicide. All those who could get into this room feel her presence. They talk of asphyxiating feelings, while it became clear that the very air in the place had become heavier with sorrow and death. Dark silhouettes in the windows of room 502 allegedly were seen by so many witnesses. The most eerie story would have to be the man in the white coat, who apparently strolled down some of the corridors of the sanatorium. They say he just suddenly materializes with his sunken eyes and that blank expression on his face. He just suddenly disappears like he comes. No one knows who the man is, but most people believe he to be the spirit of a physician who used to work in Waverly Hills and practice torturous experiments on tuberculosis patients. Waverly Hills Sanatorium has always been a magnet for ghost hunters, thrill seekers, and the simply curious. The spirits of Waverly Hills are not lost souls, but something darker, feeding off fear and despair from those who dared to visit. What used to be a refuge for the sick has instead become a kind of prison for souls who never found peace. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more creepy stories. Which of these places is more creepy to you? Let us know. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the most haunted places hold more than just stories, reminding us that past never truly fades away.